So
what'd you do?
I accidentally sent it to Kenny. So I put like the vocal sound messed up or something like that. But I almost put, because I was texting you guys and I was like, I don't think he mixed it. And I almost sent that to Kenny, bro.
You gotta be careful.
Ooh, you almost got us canceled from Kenny's.
I know.
What did he say when you sent vocals sound weird?
Nothing. He just said like the EQ come out weird, and I was like, no, I'm gonna keep listening, and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right, we're fucking live, boys.
I'm so glad you didn't say that.
All right, we're fucking live with the Slums of Harvard. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What is going on?
All right, so this is the third time for Toby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, third time for Toby, second time for Nev, and the first time for Johnny.
I'm here.
Cheers, buddy. It's good to have you
Cheers,
in
thank
here.
you on the Only Sluts podcast.
Yes, sir. I want to get into everything that's been going on since I last had you guys on, because you've had shows, you got shows coming up, released 2 fucking amazing songs, by the way.
Man.
Thank you.
Absolute fucking bangers. But before we get into all that, we're going to play a quick little bit about the sponsor that helped make this live stream possible for you guys.
Sweet.
I'm proud to announce that the podcast is now officially sponsored by the fine people over at Chop Chili Company. Guys, this is some of the best chili you can get here in the state of New Mexico, and they are online as well as in stores. They can be found at Smith's, Albertsons, Sprouts, John Brooks, and Lowe's Corner Market. They have 3 amazing flavors that you see here, and they also have frozen green chili that you can get online. Go on over to the website, chopchilico.com, and get yourself some amazing chili today.
I have a cousin named Zane who is a chili farmer in Hatch.
That's funny. I told you. I told you, bro.
But yeah, he actually approached me and shit, so it was pretty fucking cool. All right, and we're back. Okay, so from the last time that I had some of you guys on, you played the Marvel show in December, and then you guys played again, or in December, when was the last Marvel show? Because December was Launchpad, right?
Well, Marvel closes down for the winter. I think the last shows are in September.
Okay.
We did play Launchpad though.
Yes.
Yes.
That was a fun night.
Yeah, it was.
That was a very fun night.
That was a great night.
Is that the night we all ended up at Sister Bar or at Distillery?
So, and I don't remember most of that.
Yeah, that was a wild.
I'll be honest, and it was so funny because I try to remember like what was going on the morning after, and because your girlfriend and her sister were there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they are strikingly similar.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's kind of crazy how much they look like each other. Yeah. And there was a point in Distillery, like we walked up, and I sat down. I was like, "Fuck, the room is spinning." So I stood back up, got my shit together, and I don't know which one of them said something to me, but I looked at both of them and their faces started to like merge. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So you guys played at Launchpad, and that show was fucking great, by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely killed it. And that's where you guys premiered Goodbye Forever, right?
Yeah. And 20-something, I think.
Yep, both of them. Yeah. So let's start with 20-something. That came out first. What was the process of writing that one like? What was, like, who did a lot of the writing, the instrumental part of it? And then, like, what was the journey of, making that track? 'Cause it's fucking great.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, lately, again, it's all kind of been starting the same way where Toby will send us a track, like a guitar riff. So he sent us, he actually had most of that song kind of done, huh?
Yeah, you had the chorus and the verses done.
Like the structure from intro, verse to chorus and everything like that. So we kind of just had to put words to it and get, the vibe of the song. So I think at practice, we were, practicing what Toby had laid down. And then I think we had decided that we wanted it to be, like about being young and partying and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then someone wanted the line, specifically, 20-something.
I think Leroy said the line 20-something.
Yeah. And then, we kind of worked off of that. Lyrics kind of come, they don't even know what the song is about until we're in the studio. So
While you're saying this, I'm going to open up that fucking whiskey.
Yeah,
Dude,
definitely.
Open that up.
This shit
That's
is
funny
so good.
that you said that. I kind of forgot about that, about 20, how we wrote 20-something. I remember being in my little studio set up in my office, and I was writing guitar riffs. Oh, does it smell good?
Ooh.
Those are some big-ass ice cubes.
Those are huge.
Fancy.
All right. And that's why we have a giant coaster.
Thanks, sir.
So anyway, writing the lyrics.
So like the lyrics kind of come like after everything, like the whole song is kind of done. So once we have it all done, me and Leroy will like take it and we'll either me or him will come up with like the idea of what the song's gonna be about, and then we just like write, just not together. We just like write separately, and then we kind of bring it together like in practice.
Have you guys tried writing at the same time, like writing together?
They live together. I don't know why they don't.
Yeah, we do live together. I don't know. No, I don't think we have written together. I think it's just different creative processes a little bit. I think we should try it.
Hell yeah.
Just haven't done it yet, but
Well,
definitely coming around to it.
Because what I love about that song is because obviously and I've said this at fucking nauseum when I've had you guys on, but the covers you guys do are very much not only music of our generation, but it is music that you guys clearly adore, and you kind of emulate a little bit of it and bring it into your own sound. And so when you guys put out 20 something, I was like, okay, like, this is something that an early like Sum 41 or Blink 182 or Fountains of Wayne or one of those bands.
Yeah.
This sounds like one of their earlier stuff. And not to say early isn't it's not as great as the rest, but no, like that is what they would build their foundation off of.
Yeah.
Because that message that you're talking about it's not going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah.
And especially with the world the way it is right now
Yeah.
for people our age and younger.
Right.
Like that the idea of just feeling lost, you don't know where you're going. You look at the people older than you and it seems like they have their shit together, but not like nobody has their shit together. I think that's a big part of becoming a 20 something, and I'd imagine just continuing growing up is nobody has it together. Even the most successful people
Yeah.
do not have
They
their
might
shit
act
together.
like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Deep down, they probably don't. Yeah.
And I think just what's really good about that song is it really, in a short amount of time, you encompass what it means to be alive as a 20-something.
I think that was the vibe for the song too. Like it was the first one that kind of set us apart from our older sound too. You know, like we do have that harder Sum 41, you know, and Blink sound to it. So that's what I really like. And for the guitar parts, me and Toby, we never fight on like who's gonna do rhythm, who's gonna do lead. It always just kind of comes naturally. We're just like, all right, you're doing this part. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and figure this other one out too. So we're never butting heads on that. And it came out. There's a lot of distortion on it.
Yeah.
Like it sounds great. I
Even
like
if-
that's my favorite song right
Me
now.
too.
Yeah.
Even if one of us writes like a main
Might want to bring the mic a little closer.
Oh,
actually.
sorry.
Now that I hear it a little bit.
Is this okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
So even if one of us like writes a lead part, if it works out better for the other one to play it, we'll just play it. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But like it's funny that you were saying that about like the Sum 41 like Blink 182
Yeah.
sound. Is this better?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I can't help but stare at the mic. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Because what's awesome. Okay, so we got some upgrades,
Because-
boys. Not to derail this conversation, we got some upgrades.
No,
so
I can tell. I can
so
tell.
even
Fancy in
if
here.
even if your head gets in the way of that camera, that one's on you. So it doesn't fucking matter.
Ooh.
I didn't even see
Got
that.
angles.
We got live editing, boys.
Nice.
I don't have to stay up till 4 in the fucking morning making these episodes anymore.
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you about. But about like how you were saying 20 somethings like that kind of nostalgic like Sum 41 Blink sound.
Yeah.
It's funny because that song started off as a rap beat. I was
shit.
making I was in like a writing rut with guitar. I couldn't come up with anything new, so I was on the piano and I was making a hip hop beat.
Oh
And
shit.
that's how I came up with the melody riff on the piano.
Damn, I
And
didn't
then-
know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, but then the beat sucked ass. The beat was really bad. So I was like, but this melody's cool. So I put it on the guitar. And like the intro, the
Yeah.
that was on piano.
See, that's why I like talking to you guys because you're honest.
Yeah.
A lot of big people not gonna say like, "Oh yeah, it was perfect from the start. It was a masterpiece.
No,
I knew
no.
it right when I touched that. Ding,
Well,
I
then,
knew
Yeah.
it."
when I switched it to guitar and put distortion on it and made it like a pop punk thing, and like it became the demo for 20 something. Then like the intro riff that I had written on piano turned into like a perfect chorus riff and chorus progression. And then I recorded that on my laptop. So I had like intro, verse, chorus, riff, and rhythm. And then I sent that to the guys. And I think Nevin hit me back on it and was like, this one's dope.
Yeah.
We were like in this spot where we weren't really writing. We were like playing shows. So I don't think anyone else
Well,
really
you
listened
sent
to
like
it.
a few songs out of it. You sent
Yeah.
like 3 or 4, and that was one that really stuck out. Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
For
that's
me,
right. I
we're-
sent a
yeah,
few
we're like,
that
oh, this
day.
one's sick. Let's definitely work on this one. So
Yeah.
And with these last two, you know, we went like in there with the intention of writing like pop punk songs because we had just wrote
Yeah.
just
Pop
talking.
punk influenced.
What was the other one? Just talking.
or shoot,
Just talk
Not-
and start moving.
Start Moving,
yeah.
yes.
So
Start moving ended up being a banger.
yeah, but definitely not pop punk songs,
No.
and we felt like that was something that we needed to do because we bounced around from funk to a little bit of I don't know, just a little bit of everything. But we hadn't really nailed the pop punk song, so we were like, all right, let's fucking do it. We got to do it.
We tried with In My Head. Like, that was the first.
Yeah,
In
that
My
was
Head
our
20-something
training
came
wheels.
Yeah, it was our training wheels.
Yeah. But like you were saying, the covers we play,
Yeah.
like because we play those so much and we like those songs, like this just felt like these songs came out pretty naturally. 20-something
they
and
did.
Goodbye Forever. And then they did really good. They've gotten a lot of streams pretty quickly. So.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Your streams were fucking ticking up.
We went from
It's good to
400
see.
monthly listeners to like 7,000.
Jesus.
We know that it's going to be good when we go in the studio and everything just goes flawlessly. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes we have to go back like 3 or 4 times in the studio, or like always like hit our producer back to change things. These songs, we recorded them and that was it.
We
And,
got
like,
them back
once
and
that
we were
happens,
like,
we're like,
"Fuck
yeah,
yeah."
this sounds great.
Yep.
And speaking of being in the studio, like, and then your covers, I told this to Leroy and Nick, and I'm gonna say it to you guys. Whenever you guys decide to fucking sit down and, you know, release a full album, your cover of Ocean Avenue has to be on there.
Oh, I heard you guys talking about this on the last podcast.
It has to be on there. You guys are so fucking good at that song. I forgot how much I love that song until the Marble Show.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait. Yeah, that's actually like a really good song. And then, like, you guys kill it every single fucking time.
It's a
So,
fun song to play.
Are you going to this Marble Show?
I will be there.
Okay, hell yeah. We're
Yes.
playing it again, so
Yes.
we'll shout you out.
Yeah, it's a good fucking. Well, you don't need to do all that, but it's
Songs
a.
for no one.
Who
No.
wants to be on his podcast?
No, you guys seriously fucking kill it. And I remember specifically at that Launchpad show, I was getting a drink, and the opening riff to Holiday started, and I was like, no shit,
Yeah.
really, and that was great too. But Ocean Avenue takes the fucking cake. Like, that is probably, out of the stuff that I've heard from you guys, like that and Are You Gonna Be My Girl?
Oh, that one's fun to play.
Yeah,
The
that's
crowd
a
goes
great
crazy for
one.
that.
You fucking get into that.
Oh yeah, that one. It's a stretch on the vocals for sure. It's a full ice scream.
Dude, at State, at New Mexico State, when we just played there, it was at the Ice Bowl. That's what we called
The
it. It
Ice
was so
Bowl.
cold.
I was okay, so I was gonna talk some shit, but thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys looked like you were freezing.
Oh, I was so, my nose was so ready the whole time. I was just like
Johnny's
having to go
fingers
back.
were so numb that he was strumming so hard that his fingers were just gushing on his guitar. Blood.
Yeah, I had no idea. But on the last song, like the whole crowd, they just came on the stage for "Are You Gonna Be My Girl?" and Zach was just hitting that bass riff,
Yeah.
and then like they surrounded Nevin and Leroy, and the crowd was just
We're
going
playing,
nuts.
and they're just standing next to us.
Yeah, it was sick. But then I looked
was
down like towards the
fucking
end of the
awesome.
song, and then my guitar is just fucking soaked in blood, and I'm just like, oh my god! And my finger had like just the gnarliest cut on it.
So Noah
it looked
was
sick
there
though.
when Nick's thumbs got removed.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Yeah, when they turned into socks.
Yeah,
That was
that's
terrible.
That's fucking dedication. I mean,
He has
that's
those hanging on the wall.
Mounted
It made us go viral on TikTok, so that was he needs to rip his thumbs off again.
Yeah.
I think.
That was so. Yeah, poor Nick. He was trying like to stop the show.
Yeah,
and
he's like,
all,
I can't do
no,
it.
You better play one more song.
Yeah, we made
I
him.
made him.
He pushed through
But he
though,
did it
like
man.
a trooper.
Yeah.
so closing out, and when you finish up 20 something, and you actually you finally hear the final draft, the last cut of that song. How did that feel?
I
That's finally
listened
come
to
out.
it for about 30 hours
So
straight.
many times.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
It's really fucking good. Like, because there is a progression in the songwriting skills, the flow, like you were saying, between like the chorus progressions, like all of that is very and it's quick too, which is kind of crazy because you guys have put out a total of what, like 15,
About
Yeah.
15.
15 songs.
Yeah.
The progression in skill and craftsmanship is insane.
There was earlier songs that
Well, not only like four or
like
five.
seven. There were 7 songs that we removed from the OG days.
I noticed.
Yeah.
Uh,
So in total, like,
yeah.
there's been like 20 something songs. 20
Oh.
something.
Oh, that worked out great.
Yeah, the progression has been fucking nuts, and it's really awesome to see. To be honest, I think I messaged you about it. Nothing at all has been at the top of my fucking on repeat for like the last month and a half.
We wrote that. You wrote that like
Never
a
wrote
year
that.
ago.
Yeah. I forgot how that happened.
I think you were just strumming on acoustic.
Yeah, you
I
were.
was
You
strumming
just
it on
came with it.
acoustic, and then I
We
think
thought
I was,
about that one for a little bit. Remember?
Yeah, well,
Cause-
so I had like this vision for that song, and that song has like a pretty like indie style to it.
It's
You know,
fucking
like,
sad,
we
is
played
what it
slower.
is.
Sad,
Yeah.
but like indie rock, and it's like in your face a little bit. But they were trying to take it like a different direction. But I kind of had the whole thing like in my head, kind of done, and like what I wanted, and I just had to like kind of beat it into them a little bit at practice. They were like doing their own thing. I was like, no, stop. I was like, just do this. And then like by the end of it, it like finally came together, and everyone was like, oh, okay, I know what you were trying to do.
We were convinced for a second that what Nevin wrote for the chorus for Nothing at All was a verse.
Yeah.
We were like, fuck.
Interesting.
He tried to turn that into a verse. I was like, fuck you guys.
But I know how frustrating that is because like the same thing happened to me when I brought Start Moving to the band. Like it was like changing directions, and I was like, no, trust me, listen, like just fucking focus. Like this is gonna be just follow the lead. So like, sometimes we have to just follow each other's lead.
Yeah.
And is that the only song you guys have put out where Leroy is not on it at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So-
that was kind of a bummer when we came to shoot the video because it was like, oh fuck.
Sundress.
yeah.
Sundress doesn't
yeah,
have Leroy.
Sundress.
Yeah,
does
that
not
too.
have
But we did Lose It and Nothing at All at the same time. So it was like I wasn't in Lose It and he wasn't in Nothing
Yeah,
at
it
all.
was
So
the first time
had
we
our
did
own-
that.
So what is that conversation like when you're excluding a member of the band from a song?
It was it was actually like it wasn't like the intent to like not have him in the song. It was
Right.
like while we were making it, I think he was just like, or I think we kind of agreed that like he didn't really have a part in it.
I think
or, like,
even
he-
Kenny, our producer, he had an influence on that. Like before we recorded those songs, he's like, "Hey, come back with a song just for Nevin, have a song just for Leroy, and just focus on their kind of
'cause-
style and stuff."
Because
So-
Lose It is the strictly rap
Right.
Yeah,
song, right?
yeah.
Okay, right.
So our producer, he kind of had a little bit of that too, but
But I do remember we were like I started writing a verse for Lose It, and he was like trying to write a verse for Nothing at All, and then I think we just agreed like, nah, let's just do two different, like completely different songs. Plus, every single one of our songs is like singing and then rapping and then a chorus. So
Right.
that was a nice little switch to our formula.
No, yeah, and it's
I love Lose It and Nothing at All. Like,
Yeah.
Lose It goes hard.
it does. Yeah, if Leroy's watching, dude.
Leroy spits some fucking
he never wants to
bars
play
on
it
that.
live, and I'm just like, "Please, can we play Lose It?" I just like love to shred on that song.
That was
I don't know
another-
what.
That was another one of those scenarios where both those songs. So we record two at a time.
Yeah.
And Nothing at All and Lose It came back, and both of them sounded almost perfect.
Yeah, it's like
when we
first
saw
time.
them.
we're
We were
just
like, okay,
this
cool.
is it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So what is the flip side of that? Like a song that just could not.
Going crazy.
It
We
made us
recorded
go
that fucking
fucking
song
crazy,
12
bro.
times,
Oh my
bro.
god.
I
Fuck.
couldn't finish the question, folks.
I know what you were saying.
sorry.
I fucking
It
went
just
crazy.
it was a trigger.
So why?
Immediately.
So get this. I wrote the like guitar for Going Crazy, like the instrumental stuff, right? Like for the chorus and stuff, not everything. Johnny has a solo and we added a verse and stuff. But then Nevin came up with a good melody for Going Crazy, and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, this is a sweet pop song. It's a catchy, like upbeat, like all night long type song."
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is our next All Night Long," and it sounded great in practice. We were like, "This is sweet." We went to the studio. It came back. It was fucking terrible.
First of all, Nick fucked up the first round because
He was real stressed and
He's about to
just started his new
he's about to
job.
break through that wall like the Kool-Aid
Hey,
man.
he knows. He says it himself.
Yeah, no,
he
he
admits
knows.
it to it. No, his head wasn't in the game for that first song, but for the second song, which was
Disco in the Desert.
Disco in the Desert, he was better for that song. But yeah, we kept the first take that he did, and by the end of it, we were like, oh, this isn't gonna work.
But it wasn't just Nick. Like I think like the drums were off, and like Nick for his standards, he wouldn't have let that come out because he can.
Was that on a click?
No, I don't know if it was on a click or not.
So that was also. Part
I think
of the
we
issue.
tried.
Yeah.
And then Kenny was just like, "No, it's
But
not working."
we also had some bad guitar tones going on,
Yeah.
and then the vocals were not matching.
True.
And dude, the song sounded so good at practice, and we just kept fucking it up.
So that's what I want to ask is like when you're doing that in the studio, like you've been like studying and then now it's test day.
Yeah.
Right. What layers of pressure are there? Because I imagine it's like, okay, yeah, the
More
the
layers
guitars
than an onion.
like the guitar's not getting there, the drums not on B, but then it's like also you're paying for studio time. So
Yeah.
not only are we burning energy, we're wearing out our instruments, we're also burning money. Like we're burning cash. So what is that like? I imagine it's different for all three of you,
Yeah.
and the rest of the band as well. But as the pressure is kind of turning up, what are the things you worry about first?
I think getting on a click track, that was the biggest thing for us when we first started. We didn't record on a click at all. And that's so hard for a producer because he can't move around, different parts of the song and get it perfectly lined up.
That is exactly what Carlos was saying.
Yeah. And
That is
so we have to-
exactly
we
what he
literally
was
go
saying.
through like training days. We
Yeah,
have
will
a
you pass me
speaker
your
set
double?
up behind Nick and we played the most loud, annoying click sound at practice where it's just going in the back the whole time. And that's how we've been doing it now. But for me, I'm terrible
Like
at
that.
keeping on rhythm. And so I stress about that a lot going into the studio. I'm like, oh, I need to make sure that I'm on the click and on time and stuff because I'm so bad at that kind of stuff.
I stress for 2 weeks before the studio.
Yeah.
It's that bad, huh?
Because I want it to sound fucking great. And
Okay.
if we're at practice and it's not tight before the studio, like even like a week before, I'm like, let's get it to fucking together.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It would be different if we were in the studio for like a week straight
Yeah.
working on 1 or 2 songs where we can go back in, change things around, but we're there for 1 day,
Yep.
1 or 2 days. So it's like, we have to grind this out, make sure it's perfectly, or we're wasting Kenny's time, our time,
and $1,000.
and $1,000.
Like with
so.
Going Crazy, we had to re-spend $1,000 to go back, and we still did like 6 revisions on the second recording.
Yeah, Kenny sent it back. He's like, this song is making me go crazy or whatever.
He sent the Dropbox back to us, and it said "Going Crazy _ fuck you."
Yeah. We're like, we felt that.
We
Like,
went
yeah.
back in
He
like
had it up to
100
here.
times on that damn song.
Well, I would imagine too, like this is because you guys are like going places. Everyone can see it. Everyone that is like people talk to me about you guys because of how much like the Slums of Harvard popped up on the podcast. Like, and nothing but great things about the music, your live performances. Like, people talk to me about you guys, and they fucking love your music. So you guys are going places, and I would imagine that you would want to start with more pressure, not a lot of time, not a lot of money, so that when the pressure is on, you can really create those diamonds, rather than $1,000 a session. We've got 100 G's in the bank. We can put it off. We can fucking do it late. We don't have to really try that. We could just do it again. Mm-hmm. But no, you guys are like, no, fuck this. Like, we are regular dudes that happen to be super fucking talented. Let's make it. Let's show that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would imagine that would be the optimal place. Maybe not in the moment because there's that much like pressure and stress, but like for long-term benefit, that's where you would want to start.
True.
Making literally every second in the studio matter.
True.
You know what I mean?
And then going back to what you're saying about like what makes us nervous and stuff, I've heard a lot of people, and it's kind of you know, I do the same thing, to where right before you're about to do it, you kind of think, oh, this is what people are going to hear, and this is what's going to be on the track. Forever.
Yeah.
You
know,
can play it
so-
the best. You can play it amazing at a show. If that recording sucks, no one's gonna fucking listen to
Exactly.
it. You know what I mean?
The show, you get a little bit of leeway. You know, you can
Yeah.
mess up a little bit on stage. Someone up like it's so loud, you know, they get covered up. But on the track, it's you know,
Yeah.
you
then
can
if
hear
you-
everything.
And
So-
I
don't
listen
nail
to
it the
these like
first time?
1,000 times. Like I'm like over and over and over like for weeks, and then I'm like, okay, with the verse vocals a little too high. Oh, and like shit like that. Like it's I don't know. I'm like
Start
OCD
nitpicking a
about
little
it.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Kenny
annoying.
always says that we like stand too close to the painting, so we can't actually like see the big picture.
The bigger picture.
Yeah. But I mean, again, I think it needs to be as good as it can be.
Right.
You know, that's
So-
good. Like I like how Kenny tells us that stuff because as artists, we're going to be standing close to that painting. You know, we're going to want to make sure everything is perfect. But
Yeah.
for him being in a producer spot, he's brings us back a little bit, and he's like, hey, you don't have to nitpick on these specific things, all the time. So he brings us back a little bit.
Sometimes we fight him back.
Yeah,
Because sometimes
yeah.
like, no, this is ass, and we need to fix it right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's a balance.
Yeah, it's a good balance.
I mean, I feel that because like I find myself doing that all the fucking time with this, and my issue is just whether it's laziness, stupidity. I have no idea what the issue is, but like when I run into issues, I'm like, all right, I can research and I can study all fucking day long, but then at the end of the day, just like you guys do with Kenny, I need to ask for help. Like I need to go to an outside source to get this done. For instance, you guys have been on the podcast before. You have seen the absolute jungle of wires that has sprawled over.
Not anymore.
The producer right now, David, thank you again for producing.
David is Jamie.
So we've been doing this for about 2.5 years. And in the beginning, when I actually got like equipment and like XLR cables running around and all that shit, in my old condo on the east side, there were cables everywhere. And I remember we did a pod where he came by to watch. At the end of it, and I haven't heard it since. I've been hearing it since. Like, get your wire management together. It looks ugly. It's horrible. It's bad. And he would bully me about it until about 3 weeks ago.
That's what you gotta do.
He's like, don't
Am
talk
I-
about
am
my
I wrong?
wires like that.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
but look what happened. Now you got
Yeah,
this nice
but then-
4-banger XLR interface,
Yep.
and it looks clean.
exactly. So then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Because I thought I was cool. I'll be honest. Like, yeah, again, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I put up some new posters. I did fucking this or that. I moved that around. I was like, hey, David, come here. Look at this. what do you think? And he goes, it looks like shit, and that's why. And so we stayed up until about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. I ordered a pizza. I felt so bad because the app told me that Papa John's closed at 1. The guy shows up with the pizza at 12:45, and he goes, man, you ordered it just in time. We close at 12:30. I felt so fucking bad.
You were that guy.
I felt
Did you
so
give him a good
fucking
tip?
bad. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Right.
Well,
You probably didn't give a fuck.
Well, because I worked in fucking restaurants for 8 years of my life, 7, 8 years of my life. So I was like, I know exactly what you're going through, and I'm so sorry.
I feel so bad even going in like an hour before restaurants, because I know like being a server, like being in that industry, it's just like
We used to close Papa Murphy's, and people would come knock on the door after we're closed.
It's like fuck no.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? It's locked in the
Are
lights
you guys
are off.
open?
Yeah.
I'll
No.
have a Krabby Patty Deluxe. Read the sign.
Who the hell
sell
wants
pizza.
a Krabby Patty at 3 a.m.? Oh boy, 3 a.m. That's what it means to be a 20-something, is you just go through life stressed as shit, but then we all have SpongeBob references.
Yeah, exactly right.
And we just get through it.
Leroy and Nick are really good at that. SpongeBob
There's
references.
a SpongeBob rave coming up. You see that?
I did see that.
Oh,
I'm
no
not one for
way.
raves, but I hope they have fun. Because like I saw the flyer for it, and I was like, oh, well, that's neat. I bet like the people that are putting on the show are gonna be like have like decent costumes and like they'll have like bubbles going through or whatever. Like great, awesome. But then I saw the pictures of the people that attended the rave, and I saw like a too fat Patrick. Or or you know what I mean? Like I just saw these people in these goofy ass costumes. Like, oh, okay,
I think they're
this
running
is-
out of ideas because there's also a Shrek rave.
I saw Shrek,
and then like a
yeah.
Takis rave. It's like
Well, a Takis?
Yes, yeah. I have no idea what kind
No.
of branding they're doing, but
Because I remember I went to something akin to that. It was like a gimmick, right? It was back in like 2016-ish. It was one of those foam parties.
I remember that at the water park.
No, so I went to it in Texas. It
was
was
not
it was in wherever the fuck Texas Tech is at. Is that Lubbock?
Lubbock.
Yeah, in Lubbock. So I went there with my ex-girlfriend at the time. This is fucking obviously years and years ago. And I remember going there, and we ended up getting like into the actual like not the mosh pit, but like the front pit of the show. And I remember like they had like 4 cannons where they would shoot out the foam. Well, the foam is basically like just dollar store bubble bath because it got on like only like my right arm, thank God. But I remember leaving it was like quack,
Oh gosh.
so fucking sticky. I'm like, okay, so more than likely, more than half of these people are on fucking LSD or mushrooms, right? And then they're all going to the bathrooms to fuck each other and do blow. Like, and you're sticky on top of that? How is this
Double stick.
dirty.
Yeah,
Sounds like a
yes.
good time.
Thank you, Toby. Yes, exactly. But anyway, you're good. To bring this all back around to what I was saying, what was I saying about
Before the race?
Sticky soap.
yeah, before the raves, I had my point and I just lost it. I feel so bad.
There's 3 of us here. What was he talking
Dude,
about?
I don't fucking remember.
We were talking about when you guys were asking for help, because when all of this like I'm in front of the camera, but there are so many people behind the camera that made this happen. Like for instance, right? I can have all the fancy equipment and have all, and we brought up a little bit earlier about how I don't have to fucking edit anymore because now we're live streaming YouTube exports and we do it all in real time. Oh yeah, do you want fucking Buffalo Trace? I forgot to pour you a
or a
glass.
double- or a double
Buffalo
white?
Trace right
Dude,
now.
have you had this?
Dude, it's delicious.
No, we have had this
Can I try?
because him and Joey, my roommates, I bought a bottle. It's like, yeah, you guys can have a glass or two. That's fine.
Cashed
I
it out.
made the mistake of leaving it downstairs and going to sleep. I woke up and it was gone. It was gone.
roommates on the floor.
That was actually the
Dude,
first time we
it's
went to
good.
Kenny's.
It's
He had what kind of?
Did I give you a glass?
Did he have Jameson?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
he always has Jameson.
Either Jameson or some kind of expensive whiskey, and we
It was like
drank
a high
the
end Jameson.
Buffalo?
full
Oh, yeah.
bottle.
Buffalo Trace.
Then after
Yes.
that, he
Point.
locked it. He locked the liquor cabinet on us.
But anyway, so yeah, like this is like so I can have all the nice equipment and the mics and the cameras and the fucking switcher now. But if there's not somebody behind that fucking thing, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right? The newer all the thumbnails were done by my buddy Jay. He lives out in LA. He's the one that actually like showed me like what do I buy? How do I do this? How do you upload stuff properly? Because I am so naive to like social media tech and like all that stuff that like I was fucking lost in the sauce. And initially, I had approached him just to make the logo and then create like the animated logo that starts out for every podcast. I just asked him for that. And he had hit me back 2 days later, and he was like, no, dude, like, yeah, that's easy. That'll take me 3 seconds, but I'll produce it for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, I'm going to show you, like, what you need to buy, how you upload, what services to use, and then, because you're probably going to have shitty mics for a while, which I did.
Yeah.
I'm going to mix, because he makes his own music. He codes. Like, he's the guy that sits behind a computer for 10 hours a day and makes a buttload of money, right? So he was like, yeah, send me the fucking tracks. I will master all the audio, and we'll pump it out and make a decent podcast.
Yeah.
Right. And so whether it's him making all the and then he made all the thumbnails for me. So for instance, this is how fucking good this guy is. I did the episode with Carlos last Tuesday, I think. Or maybe it was a Wednesday. It was one of those days. Well, anyway, the day of, or no, I'm sorry, the night before at like 11:30, I was like, hey, dude, we're doing a live stream. I got it all set up. Can you give me fucking new thumbnails? By the next morning, he had everything set up, ready to go. That's how they would promote it, make it look good. Like the one that I sent you guys, the one that you guys see on like YouTube and now on Instagram, that was all him. I just like plugged in the picture and typed.
Well, it was cool too to like see your first live podcast with Carlos.
Yeah,
that was the first live.
Yep,
one, right?
that was
Well, there was.
Okay, so we did a live stream. Like during the election of
I heard this on that podcast.
2020,
yeah,
and it was
some
so
people tuned in, and you were like, "What the fuck?"
It was so fucking bad, and we had like 30 people show up, and I was like I got so stressed out because what I decided to do, because we were in my old garage again, and we set these two tables up like an L. Right. And we have the fucking computer on the other side. The only camera we have is the webcam and an older laptop than that. It's not even that. It's like a way older laptop.
Windows XP.
Yeah, pretty much. It might as well have been. And then we plugged it in the interface, and we had one shitty $20 mic that we passed around.
Oh, God.
It was so fucking
Like in
bad.
Cruises, passing around that mic that they had.
Oh, yeah.
I liked that little interview, by the way. I saw that shit.
You saw it?
Yeah, on
That was such
Dude,
a
I
weird
was
mic.
stressed
It was
out.
like
the
a
college
ball
radio.
on, like, a stick.
I was stressed out though. Like when I rewatched it, it was not that bad. But when we were sitting there doing it, I was like, "Wow, we sound retarded." Seriously, I was like, "This
It was
is
for
bad."
fun, though.
I know
We're
it
just
was.
having
My
fun.
favorite part was you guys asked like an actual question was asked to Zach.
Yeah.
And he
Las
gets the
Vegas.
mic and he goes, "Yeah, we'll be in Vegas." It's like, what?
It was so funny.
He was like out of it or something.
We're like, bro,
www.
we're like,
going
bro, we
to Las
gave me
Vegas.
the alley oop. We
Drop
gave him the
bag.
alley oop, and he couldn't
Zach's
fucking finish.
fucking hilarious though.
Oh
That
my
guy is-
God.
Those
that
are the
guy
kind
is
of people
funny.
you need on your team, though. Like that
Exists.
guy in Cali. You know,
Yes.
like really good people in the back end that are making the thing run.
Yep.
And
that's
I don't know too much about your podcast. I don't know how long you've been doing it. Like how long have you been?
about 2.5 years now.
Like what you have right now for doing it for 2 years, like it's super professional.
Well, I
Especially
appreciate
coming on
that.
my first time. I don't know what it was like when these guys came on last or whatever, but
It was-
looks really good right now.
Still very similar to this, but like you said, you've added some new stuff, got some new wire management,
more
mics.
organized.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more organized.
But
and I
I've
appreciate
seen your
that.
first
of all.
episodes though, and like Johnny's saying,
Do not fucking watch those. They are
No, but-
so bad.
No, but like it goes back to like. The
That's how I
first
feel about our
we've
songs.
written.
I'm like,
Yeah.
they're so cringy. I will not
You
listen
have
to them.
to start somewhere.
So
Yeah.
we had this song called Cigarettes.
Oh no!
Not cigarettes. I forgot about cigarettes.
So that was probably the worst song we've ever
Fuck, I hate that.
made. We
song.
never, we recorded it and never made it out because we were all, we can't
forgot
fucking
what
put
it
this.
I'll
sounds
on
never
the
like. I
song.
just
forgive these
erased
guys
it
for
from my memory.
cigarettes, by the way, because I had a cool riff that got fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
We could never use it again.
It was
That
like
song-
one of those things where
It was
he sent
like
a
a-
cool riff and it goes
we
fucking
used to
nowhere.
play "Say So" by Doja Cat as an intro.
I've never listened to her music.
Okay,
so I
well,
don't
it's like a
it's
funk
a
song.
banger.
Okay.
It's a good song, actually.
Yeah.
Like it's like a '70s funk song. That's it.
Okay.
We played the instrumental right to open up shows like way back, and like I had this riff that went over those chords, and so I was like, "Oh, this riff is cool. We could build a song out of this." It turned into like this fucked up like
reggae.
reggae
was so
western
bad.
song.
It
It
was
was,
so bad.
awful.
Oh,
It was
no.
so bad. We spent $1,000 on that one. We got it back, and I don't think any of us ever listened to
We
it
just
again.
we don't talk about it
No.
that much.
We like would send it to our family because like especially early in the days like we'd get it, we'd send it out for like see what people think about it, and when we would
so
do all
bad.
night long and all of our parents fucking loved it, everyone loved it, And then we did cigarettes, and we did the same kind of thing, and like bad response.
Dude, I was driving to,
Is it like a
I was
thumbs
driving
up?
to cruises
This
with
isn't
my
a good
sister,
song.
and I had the song. We didn't release it, but I was like, "Hey, listen to our new song. See what you think." And she just sat there like this. And I was like, "Okay, Blink-182." Fucking.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, my bad.
And I don't know how she is in real life, but on her like social media, she seems like very like expressive and like very animated and like everything's a. But
yeah.
that was the response.
Yeah,
huh?
I was like, "Okay, this is terrible."
So that's interesting though. So when you guys create new tracks, who like you don't have to drop names obviously if you don't want to, but like who are the people that you kind of like send to feel it out to? Where it's like, hey, what do you think?
I don't send them to my girlfriend Molly anymore because I've realized that she does not like the type of
She don't
music
give
we
a
make.
fuck what you do.
Well, no, like she comes to shows and supports. She's awesome, but like when it comes to like the actual music, like you said, the type of music we make, like pop punkish stuff, she does not like any of that. So for me to even ask her, it doesn't make sense because I'm like, you don't even like the famous bands of this genre.
Like that's not your demographic,
right.
You're
She
not playing to
listens
her.
Very calm music and shit.
Okay,
We don't
that's fair.
click on music, so I'm like, okay, not asking you, and if you don't like it, I don't care.
I hate getting sympathy remarks. Like if I send it to someone,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, this sounds good," or like, they're just kind of bullshitting. And I'm like, just be real with me. Tell me
Yeah.
exactly how it is. You
Right.
know. So I don't send it to anybody. I just wait.
Do we send it to like anyone?
I
for
send it
approval?
to. My mom has a great fucking taste in music, and she
Yeah.
knows when we have bangers. Like she called All Night Long being great. She called a couple other ones. So I show my mom.
I know we'll send stuff to Andy, and he always gives us a pretty honest opinion.
Yeah, the honest opinions are what we fucking need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like musicians are a lot of people will send it to. Also, like we'll send stuff to. I think we'll show like Tina from the Cakes. I think just people in the music scene give a little
take
bit
some of
better
that.
of an answer, just because they know what's going on and
True.
what sounds good. So I think they'll be a little more honest about kind of.
Honestly, I think since there's 6 of us that are very kind of different, if we all can agree that this shit's pretty good,
Yeah.
then that's a good indicator. We all knew cigarettes was awful, and I was
Yeah.
like, 6 out of 6, huh? Six
Yeah, we
thumbs
all
down.
disagreed on
Well,
that.
and that was
Yeah.
another one in the
Fuck.
studio, like while we were making it.
Oh, I was
Because
fucking
it changed
freaking
up a
out.
bunch, and we were all. So,
So-
we do sign language,
Wow,
like
okay.
in the studio. Like,
Yeah.
when
It's
Kenny
Like in
starts
Saving
messing
Private
with
Ryan when the tanks are coming, we're all.
Yeah.
stuff, we're all.
Our eye movements. Yeah, we read each other and our facial expressions and stuff a lot in
Yeah,
the
we
studio.
Me and Neville look at each other.
Well, we don't want to be mean to Kenny too sometimes, so we're
Yeah.
just like.
Well, that's funny because that like
give a
that,
side eye.
that translates
That's
quite well
ours.
to your stage performance. I'll be honest, like that translates very well because you guys have a very like a really great like synchronization between the 6 of you, which is rare in bands of 4, right? Especially like not to say this disparagingly, but like in local bands, right? That's tough to see. Now you add 2 more people and you try to make that shit work. That like is that something you had to work on over time, or did it kind of just like, hey, this is actually kind of working out?
I think it's like natural progression, honestly. Like we've all been really good friends for a long time. Like I recently met Toby and Nick, not like when like 3 or 4 years ago, but like Nev, Zach, Leroy, I've known for so long. So I think it's just having that chemistry together and the synergy and stuff, and like just been with them almost every day out of the week too when we practice, and just like literally just chemistry. We know what's not sounding good, we'll look at each other, and if you give that look, it's like, okay, maybe I need to change something up.
True.
But,
Our chemistry is something that
Yeah.
like we cannot take for granted.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think for other local bands, because there's a lot of bands that they have I don't know, like Tina, she plays in the Mango Cakes, but she also does like 3 other things with different bands, and I think that interchanging between people, it's hard to build, some kind of chemistry when you're always just moving around with different bands and stuff. That's how
agree.
I see it. Like
Yeah, that's the best way
we're
to
like
put
the Beatles, we're like,
Yeah.
we've been in it since day one.
Yeah, it's like,
so
fuck you guys, no one else can come in.
Yeah.
And we
It's
definitely
us.
didn't have that at the start, obviously.
It's like being in a
taking this time to
relationship
build
with
it.
like 6 dudes. That's how I look at it. That's what it feels
It's
like
that
sometimes.
six-way marriage. That
Yeah, we're in a 6-way marriage right now.
with no sex. It's all frustration.
None.
Well, and again, that's super rare to find, right? Because again, I think you had brought it up when you would come on, like you're 6 young, testosterone-filled, extremely creative men that all want to get to the same goal somehow.
Yeah.
And there really isn't like, of course, you can look at bands you admire or people you like listening to, but in reality, like there's this veil in the entertainment industry, no matter what type of entertainment you're doing, whether it's fucking music or comedy, filmmaking, there's this veil that at least this is the way I see it, is like we all see it, but we don't know how to pass it. And there is no real roadmap to get where you want to be. And I think what I think is interesting too is that self-admittedly, like, there were, and I'm curious to find out if anyone else shared this sentiment with Zach, where he's like, hey, I'm just cool with being the band that chills, does a couple weekend gigs and moves on. But then there were a couple more members of the band. They're like, no, we're going to like actually do X, Y, and Z and then, you know, make it something.
Yeah.
Like, are those still conversations you guys have?
I mean, at
We're all
first,
on board.
we're on
You're
the
all
same.
on board.
We've had to have
Yeah.
that conversation once where we like sat everyone down at practice and we're like, hey, this is what we want to do for the future. This is our goals. We want to keep, you know, making. We don't want to be a weekend band. And we're just like, are you in it? Are you in it?
Yeah.
Nick, are you in it? Zach? And everyone's just like,
That was
yeah,
a real
we're
night.
here.
Yeah.
It was real. It
Like
was,
pull up the bar stools and have
yeah,
like
we
a
just had to have a
heart-to-heart.
real ass talk and be like,
Do you guys
are
wanna
we
be a
fucking
shitty local
around right
band
now?
or do
yeah.
this?
Yeah, because like Toby, he has a million things going on. Nick, everybody does, you know. And so if we can come and have a goal that we all agree on, and that's what you have to do. You have to talk about it with your band, you know. You can't. You have to get past that veil. Like if everyone's kind of just, you know, lean back and stuff. You have to have those
And
conversations.
it's better
so.
to do it like Johnny's saying and like just put it on the table instead of just being passive aggressive.
Yeah.
That's the fucking worst. It's better just to get the fight over with and be like, this is how I feel. This is how you feel. Okay, let's move on.
And I feel like that was a little bit more early, like before even Toby and Nick were in the band,
Yeah.
and even Leroy when it was, you know, just us and our old drummer. And at that point, we weren't doing a whole lot. You know, we were just starting at Launchpad and that kind of stuff. So I think at that point, we were trying to make the decision, at least, but without them because they weren't in the band yet. Just like, what are we actually trying to do?
So what before Toby had showed up, what era is that? Like, what years is that? Only you guys,
2019.
2019
because
going
the,
into 2020.
the Slums of Harvard as a band has been around for what, 4 years, 5 years?
Four.
2 years with the full Avenger lineup that we got
Yeah.
now. 4 years and probably in general, huh? In
Yeah,
total?
4.
Yeah.
But we
Okay.
didn't release music until they were on board. So I guess 2 years.
No, you guys had 7 songs out before me and Nick joined.
We did.
Sundress through HGA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never
I know the
mind.
history. I'm just the historian.
He was the first fangirl.
That's true.
So, but that's so I kind of want to dig into that a little bit, that conversation between the six of you, because that's I mean, the idea behind that is kind of why I started doing this, because obviously I want to have because you know, as you grow up, you become a 20-something, you know, you and your group of guy friends, you start to do your own thing. Like you get a job here. These people go off into the military. These people get a wife or a girlfriend that becomes a wife. You kind of all split. And then I kind of saw what podcasting could be. It's like, oh, well, yeah, the bigger guys have like meaningful conversations. Okay, fuck that. No. You can just hang out with your friends and get drunk for 3 hours? Like, that's great.
Sick.
Yeah, and if it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. That's kind of fucking sick. But then, you know, when it first started out as like an excuse just to hang out and do things, and then it just starts to evolve, I had to have this like conversation by myself where I was like, okay, am I about to spend a shit ton of money and let it go nowhere? Or am I going to take this shit seriously? Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I kind of want to dig into that with you guys. Like, how long was that? Was it an easy conversation? Was it hard? Was it long? Like, because that's the idea of having an open and honest conversation like that is so dead these days. Like, let's be honest, right? It's so fucking dead. Everything, whether it's because of the mainstream media, whether it's because of TikTok, whether it's just social media in general, or just the lack of, I guess the growth of societal indifference toward each other, right?
Yeah.
People just want information quick,
True.
no nuance, and in these bite-sized little things that our brain that's on this 15 to 10-second clicker
Yeah.
that can just immediately turn around and walk away from.
True.
Yeah.
Right? So to actually sit down and talk with someone about something very important that may or may not offend them, may or may not make them feel bad about how they feel.
That's where it's different with us because like we don't give a fuck if we offend each other too much.
Which is rare.
hurt
Again,
each other.
that's why I love talking to you
Not
guys.
saying we don't get our feelings hurt. We do, but it doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
You
See,
know what I
but that's rare because our generation and below, all they fucking care about are their feelings.
Yeah.
You know, being good with whichever opinion they care about. You're
Yeah.
a part of this group and you make these people happy and
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that, the idea of like, hey, you're a fallible human being. That's like so foreign to most people.
Yeah.
So again, like you sit down to have that conversation. Who opened the conversation? Do you remember?
No, I think it got to a point where it escalated so much in the band because like Zach, he was doing the academy in the fire department. We were kind of like, I don't know. For me, it felt at the time before we had that conversation, like the band, you know, was kind of not really falling apart, but we weren't taking any steps forward. And Zach was so busy with like his fire department stuff. You know, Nick just got on. And there was a point where like we're just like, hey, we need to just sit down with everybody and have like an actual band meeting and just be real with each other and figure out, you know, what has to go on.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I remember being extremely frustrated.
Yeah.
I just remember like I
No one-
joined the band.
Yeah.
I wanted us to do this. I believed in like what you guys had started. And I was like, we can do this.
Yeah.
But there was so much like stuff not moving forward that I was so busy too. And I just remember thinking like, hey, are we actually going to fucking do this?
Everyone
So
just
I
got
can
caught
be
up
all
in their
in?
life stuff, like you're saying. You know, people were going
Yeah.
off to new jobs or whatever, but we just had. I don't know if like anybody specifically initiated it, but we all felt together as a group where we're like, we have to talk at some point and you know just be real.
Well,
But
that
the
seems-
cool thing was Zach, even though he didn't agree at first, like we were talking about how he said himself at that last podcast, he was like, I was cool with being like the local band, play some weekend gigs, have fun. After like we were like, no, we want to do this. Instead of fighting us, he was like, okay,
Yeah.
and he jumped on board, and like he's been on board since.
Well, it sounded like you gave him like the light at the end of the tunnel, because I think I hate to sound misogynist, but as men, right, the way men are wired is we need an end goal. We need
yeah,
like
we
something
do.
to keep working towards.
Yes.
Not to say women are fucking stagnant or they're whatever. Like no, not at all. But like
But it
because
is different.
because of the hormones in our body, the
Yeah.
way our brains are generally are wired, we need to go out and beat something, conquer
Yes.
something, take over something,
Yes.
achieve something. Whether that's a career, whether that's a project, whether that's that's not misogynist, whether that's a woman, like to win over that girl, to keep winning her
Yeah,
over, to
I
keep doing
completely agree with
like
you.
that is how men are wired.
Yes.
So I think, because obviously, if the motherfucker's a firefighter, he has that in him.
Yeah, fuck yeah, and Zach's
So,
a badass too.
yeah.
Like, he's a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah. So I feel like that conversation might have just given him the lifeline.
Yeah,
Where it's like,
I
no,
think
no,
so.
dude, like, be vulnerable, put everything into this.
Yeah.
We want it too.
I think when he realized that we really believe in this too, that it made him re-believe in it. You know what I mean? Because he does. So it's like, fuck yeah, now we're on
Once
the same
Toby
page.
told me he is fully in it, I was like, okay, we're going places with this because this guy, I mean, he's on his way to be a millionaire. You know, he's
True.
at the
That's
lab.
what I-
he's
Yeah, he
doing-
don't. He don't.
That's
need
what I
to-
fucking
he's
said
a real
too.
estate fucking mogul here in Albuquerque. Like he has so many things going on that he wouldn't give a fuck if the band ended. Like he's still good to go. But you know, Toby really solidified that. I think,
Yeah, if the
too,
band
man.
makes it, he's just like cool.
Yeah. And I think us coming
With
from
me,
like
bro, I had thought about this before. I was like, is this worth all? One time when we were really frustrated and the band's on the verge of breaking up, I'm sitting there thinking like, is this really worth all my fucking time and energy?
Yeah.
But it's like, damn, I couldn't go a day without thinking about this. So
Yep.
yes, it's fucking worth our time.
and we all come from like competitive backgrounds. Like we were
Hell
all
yeah.
in high school, like in athletics and stuff. And so I think having like we naturally have that driven goal, to reach something, and we're super competitive and dedicated to stuff. It helps us out. I feel like
For
too. Like
sure.
having that background, it gives us that drive a little bit more.
Yeah.
And a show, I feel like a show kind of feels like you're in a sport. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
like game day, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
it's
you're
game day.
it's like game day. When you're going on, you have those same nerves
Kickoff.
that you have like right before the kickoff. But once the game
national anthem's
starts,
playing, you're like, ooh, fuck.
once the game starts and once we're actually going, the nerves go away and you're just in the zone.
That's game
Straight,
time.
It's
Yep.
just like sports.
Yeah.
No shit. Well, I think it's interesting because when for you guys, and I imagine it's all different because again, outside looking in, you all kind of have it. When did the obsession kick in?
Day one.
When it's like I can't stop thinking about this. I
Day
can't stop
-5.
wanting to improve, get better. Like, when did that start up?
Yeah, I'd say for me is when we started making music, like original stuff.
Original stuff, yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool, because we cover as many fucking great songs as we want. But when you make a good song that you thought of yourself,
Yeah.
You
like
birthed
that's
it.
when you're like, oh shit, we could do this.
Bird the song out of your womb,
Yeah.
raised it up.
Get
I think
pregnant.
about that too. Not out of your womb, but I think about that
We all
because,
got
like,
birthing hips.
yeah, we do. We're breeders. We're breeders.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like, I think about that too. Like, I'll come up, like, if I'm writing demos and I come up with an idea, I'm like, this is fucking cool. but this is just a demo on my hard drive that no one will ever hear. If I didn't have like my group of dudes that are like my brothers and like we do this together. You know what I mean? Because like it takes all 6 of us to make an idea come to life.
Right.
From demo to studio. It's not like we say like someone wrote like the majority of a song, and like that's true sometimes, but like in reality it takes all 6 people for it to be that finished product. Mm-hmm. If not, it's an idea on your computer that no one ever hears.
Because I would imagine if I'm Leroy and I'm writing lyrics to a song, if that doesn't track well with either of yours guitars, if I don't mesh well with you, if I don't, if the rhythm can't either be kept up, or if it doesn't feel natural to Zach, or if Nick can't do his thing in the back to keep my vocals on pace, none of it really works out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So there's a lot of, even though like you're saying that you and Leroy kind of write by yourselves and then come together, there's still a lot of consideration happening.
True.
For everybody else. Yeah. Like, how would they sound playing this? Well, how does this person sound singing my guitar riff, my whatever it is?
Yeah, that's how we kind of do like the process we have now. We get the chord, like when we go in the studio, it's rhythm first, drums and bass, and then guitars. And so when that gets to Leroy and Nev, they have something pretty solidified already that they can, work around and make their vocals fit too.
That's true.
So when do you figure out that because you brought up chord progression earlier, so what is that, and when do you figure out that this is actually like this is working out, like this song is actually starting, you're Frankensteining it together and it's starting to actually flow into a living, breathing thing?
I think when you're writing a demo and you come up with a good chorus, because the chorus is the bread and butter of the song, and if you don't have a good chorus, there's no point
it has to be catchy.
It has to be catchy.
Yeah.
If you don't have a chorus, but you have a good verse idea, who gives a fuck? Because people listen to the chorus. The verse keeps them around to the next chorus. So if your chorus idea is solid, there's a good chance you'll be able to build around that and make a good song.
Yeah, the verses usually come pretty easy once we have the chorus.
You write backwards, really. You write the chorus, and then everything else just writes itself.
Interesting.
So if you're writing something and you're forcing it, and it's like a chorus, and it's like the hook, and it's forced, and it's not staying in your head, it probably is going to get scrapped. Sometimes I'll take something to practice, and I think it's great, and we'll play it, and we can't make any fucking progress with it. And it's like, okay, eventually you're forcing shit, and that's not working. It needs to get in that flow state. So we scrap it, and sometimes it's frustrating, but...
And with people's attention spans nowadays too, they listen to like the first 5 to 10 seconds of the song, and then they're just like next. So it like that's
especially with TikTok.
Yeah.
If it catches with like on our ears, we're like, oh, this actually sounds good. Then it's probably going to translate to sounding good on Spotify to people.
Me and Zach got in a fight about that a couple weeks ago. I had this demo that I had for a couple months that the riff is really catchy, and we were trying to make the full song out of it, and we could not write a fucking verse to save our lives. Like, we couldn't transition out of the demo and complete the whole song. And so we were getting frustrated, and we're fighting. And like Zach, I was getting mad because I felt like Zach wasn't trying to help figure it out. And Zach got mad because he's like, we're fucking forcing this. Like, let's just start with something new. And it's like both of us were right and both of us were wrong at the same time. Because it's like, okay, you could probably figure something out. But Zach's also right. Like, okay, maybe this is just not the idea. Maybe we're just forcing it, and it's not going to be good.
Interesting.
And I was
again,
like, okay.
That was on the verse. We already had the chorus down. It was the verse that we couldn't figure out, and so that's...
But I
you just couldn't open it up.
I remember like being fucking pissed, and then like just dropping my ego for a minute, and I was like, okay, maybe he's right. Like, so I went home that night, and that's when I wrote the demo for one of our new songs that we just recorded. Because I was like, okay, maybe he's right. So like, it's good to like push back on people so that you can hold each other accountable. Yeah. But you also gotta fucking listen to each other, and sometimes that means dropping your ego and just being like, okay.
Yeah, there was this. I think it was for Going Crazy. We were working on the bridge part, and Toby was
that was Start Moving.
Was it Start
I
Moving?
remember this fight.
Yeah, Start Moving.
I was fucking pissed. I get pissed.
He's like a battered child. Oh yeah, I remember the fight the parents had, man. They were shirtless and throwing bottles everywhere. It was horrible.
I have a good fucking memory.
So we're working on the bridge, and Toby's like, "This isn't a bridge," and we're like, "Yes, it is."
At the beginning, it was not, and I'm still not gonna fucking
and
surrender.
He was all, "Fuck you! It's not a fucking bridge."
I was like, "You can't pick the same chords we already use and call that a fucking bridge." I was We got heated. We get heated.
It was
And we go in the studio and Kenny's like, "Oh, is this the bridge?" And we all just look at Toby and we're like, "Bridge?
Is it Toby? Is it the bridge?
Fucking bridge.
Say it's the fucking bridge.
Fuck you guys.
Hey, that song's a banger."
Yeah.
So.
But that's
I wrote that on the piano too, which is weird. I don't play piano really good.
That's good though, because again, what's the again? Obviously, that's a bit of an extreme, but to talk about another extreme of on that spectrum,
Is not giving a fuck.
What's the alternative? You're complacent. You're like, okay, you know what? Fine, fuck you, Toby, dude.
Yeah.
That's not a bridge. You're right. You're fucking right.
I'm glad we don't get our feelings hurt because we'd be some pussies.
You get your
if we
feelings hurt
did.
for a few seconds and then you brush it off.
Oh,
'cause you're
but
like, okay.
not take it into.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
not-
Well, I feel
Don't
like
hold
it
grudges
home.
at all.
Again,
Yeah.
I have no idea what it's like to be in a band. I have no idea what it's like to do what you guys do. However, I'd imagine that if you guys did get your feelings hurt on a regular basis, if you guys did just get complacent, not really give a shit, it would turn into, you know what, dude, you're right. Fuck it. Fuck me. Whatever. Then I go home. I grow resentment. I talk to someone else behind the scenes that's in the band. Like, oh, yeah, no, I feel that way too. Yeah, no, fuck these people. No, they're fucking retarded. Look at Toby's stupid ass smile. Yeah, he's wrong, dude. And then fucking,
up there,
yeah,
yeah,
one
one dude dips out. The other guy dips out. Now you go from 4 to 6. And one guy's like, oh,
We
wait.
won't let each other. There's
And then,
no way.
you know what I mean? And it just kind of like trick. And that all
dissipates.
starts with hurt feelings.
Yeah.
And whether it's
An ego.
the ego, exactly.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Ego the most.
Yeah.
ego telling you that I don't want to communicate, or which personally, what I think is worse is the inability to communicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I remember, because I know there's mixed emotions about this person, but I heard this quote from Jordan Peterson. Someone asked him,
I like Jordan Peterson.
yeah, someone asked him, what is the best way for like anyone, right, male or female, to become deadly? What is the best way? And obviously in today's day and age, it's like, okay, yeah, it's how to be violent, how to be physically imposing on another person. And he goes, no, hone in your words.
Yeah, he said to be articulate, right?
How to be articulate, how to speak properly, how to communicate properly. Because you can have the best ideas in the world, or you could have the best solutions to problems in the world. But if you don't know how to articulate that, if you don't know how to speak, if you don't know how to express the fact that, you know, maybe you do know what's going on, who cares?
Yeah.
You have now become effectively useless.
True. And I think that I had to realize that everyone who's like digging their heels in and has an opposite opinion of you, they're doing that because they think that their idea is best. And there's a reason for that. So
Yes.
maybe you should fucking listen to it. That might not be right still.
Yeah, removing
But-
yourself and figuring out that maybe you're wrong.
Right. Hell yeah. You have to do that. And it's harder said than done.
Yeah.
Or easier said
And
than
now what
done.
I've been
But-
realizing too, like when we have practice and stuff, especially for our newer songs,
Oh, yeah.
we'll play, you know, like a certain part, and we're like, hey, let's try this thing out, you know, during this like chord progression. If it doesn't work, then we're like, all right, let's move on to the next thing. You know, we've been getting better and better at, you know, talking about, hey, this doesn't sound good. Let's move on, you know, in the same practice and just keep trying different things until eventually
Don't get
it's-
stuck.
Yeah, we don't get stuck in a place.
Don't
so,
get married to an idea.
Yeah, we've been doing that a lot lately, though.
Yeah.
Which
Zach's
I've been
been
liking.
pretty good at. So he did like this thing to where he wants to now match the bass with like the drum kick a lot, and that's like it's like so small, but it's like a level up because I guess in our previous songs the bass and the drums don't match perfectly, and that makes a big difference by the end of the
Well,
song.
those are your, aside from the rhythm guitar, but like that's your core rhythm
Oh,
section
yeah.
right
And
there.
don't get me wrong, like they were like still in sync and stuff, obviously, or else
coulda
it
worked.
wouldn't sound like music. But Zach's really been like really focusing now on
tightening up.
getting his bass pattern tight with Nick's kick pattern, right? So
And that translates to live shows too.
and it
so
really
makes it sound
comes
better.
through on
that's
the
like the
recording.
heartbeat of the song. you know?
Yeah.
So if both
Right.
of them are on, it's like oh yeah. we
And
got it.
that, like, props to Zach. That's like an ego check for Zach because he knows, like, sometimes you have to play simple.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can't be playing lead bass. You know what I mean? You have to just play the B pocket and play the roots.
You
and-
keep everyone else on track.
yeah, you're the glue.
effectively.
And he's been doing that really well. And like I think that's gonna make a big difference live and with our new songs.
Yeah.
And he struggled with that. Not really struggled with it, but Flea is his favorite bass player.
Right. And,
And
he's
From
like a
Red
lead
Hot
bass
Chili
player.
Peppers,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
And Flea,
Nah.
he makes his bass pop like he plays lead bass.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Because they have
And-
one guitar player.
And Zach wants to do that, but Kenny's had to tell him several times like you just can't. You're not in that kind of band, basically.
Yeah, true. But instead of Zach being like, "Oh, fuck you guys," Zach was like, Zach and Nick are working together good now to like really sync up the rhythm section, and I really think that's gonna make a big difference.
Yeah.
It's cool to watch
Interesting.
it too, because like they will hear things that I do not. Fucking
Yeah,
hear.
I don't even know what they're fucking talking
Zach
about.
will be
He's
like, "No, I need to hit on the 1 and the 3 with you, and you're playing this metal rhythm, and it's off of where I'm hitting the root note." And like when they tighten up, the muddiness
Yeah.
goes away, and I'm like,
It's
"I'll
not
be
even
goddamn."
just Zach changing too. It's also Nick changing his
Yeah,
drum pattern
they
to fit
changed
Zach
together.
too. They both are working together.
Nick
on
is
that,
also
so.
very good at being receptive to like direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like Leroy helps him. Well, not really.
Yeah.
He'll complain about it a little
Yeah,
bit.
because he's just
But-
funny. He's a smartass. But like Leroy really helps Nick with the drums, and Zach does too, like tightening up his pattern. And instead of Nick being like, "Oh fuck you guys, I'm a great drummer," like shut the fuck
He's
up.
like, you guys don't even know how to play drums.
Yeah,
He'd be like, "Oh, I am a great drummer, but
Nick
okay, I'll do
listens,
this."
and that's important. Like he'll try what Leroy's saying, and a lot of times like it works out.
And again, that's why I enjoy talking to you guys, because you guys are like almost like, I don't want to say to a fault, but you guys are extremely honest. I mean, and he said that himself. Like I think I had him on like 5 months ago or something like that, and he was saying like I am actively trying to work on being humble. And why that's so important, and why it leads to band synergy, and why that is going to lead to a long-term success. Yeah. Rather than just exactly letting the ego run wild, and then like what you won an argument, great. Again, another Jordan Peterson thing. It's like, what, you won the argument, now what? You're with a bunch of losers,
Right.
in your eyes.
Right.
What the fuck does that? What does that mean? You know what I mean?
Sometimes you gotta lose the battle to win the war, baby.
Yep.
Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna take a quick little break because I have to pee. I'm gonna
Okay,
get some
cool.
water. David, if you want to run the loop and then cut the audio. Ugh, I gotta pee.
Audio's on.
Rolling. We could tell everybody. We could tell everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man.
Boo. That song sucks.
All right, David, we back?
Yep.
All right, sick. Okay, so before we get out of here, so many fucking texts. Okay, before we get out of here, I do want to talk about Goodbye Forever, but
Goodbye forever.
But I do want to ask you guys about what it's interesting to me anyway, because I'm learning about all this, and I think I personally feel that I'm very advantageous in the fact that like I knew nothing about before I started this, I knew nothing about you guys. I knew nothing about the local music scene, the comedy scene, and I'm very much an outsider, kind of like learning to peer in and see what's going on, who's who, and like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And everything is so interconnected here. Mm-hmm. Like the bands all know each other. It's true. They all collaborate in one way or another. Like they all run in the same circles. They all go drink at the same bars. Like it's interesting. It doesn't surprise me because of just how Albuquerque is, right? It doesn't fucking surprise. Like it's funny. I'll have people either follow the podcast or I'll follow like you guys or other bands here. And then when I go see those profiles on my personal page, it's like followed by like all these other fucking people that I know, right?
Yep.
And so are there any bands that you guys like look up to that you're like, okay, we want to emulate what they're doing in a certain way? Or maybe there's other bands that are like, we've actually been able to help them out in one way or another.
I look up to Red Light Cameras. They're the best band in the city.
I just saw them a couple days ago, and
they're amazing.
Good Christ.
Bro.
Yes. So they
Good Christ.
They are so good.
I'm gonna
Amanda
say that
is
now.
amazing.
Good
You have
Christ.
to have them on. They're sick.
Amanda is like for sure the best front person in
Whole
for
band's
sure the
talented,
state.
for sure.
But I mean, she's one of the best I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
her interaction, just her passion that she puts into each show. But yeah, the Red Lights, they have like their whole show where it's all originals. They don't do any cover. Sometimes they'll do a cover, but they'll do all their original songs, and every single one of them's a fucking bop. And their live performance.
Yeah, their
is
live
insane.
energy's stupid.
So I'd say I look up to them a lot for
Yeah.
sure.
And the Rhythms helped put us on for sure.
Yeah.
So big shout out to the Rhythms. Those guys are super fucking cool.
They're the first guys that kind of like take us under their wing, pretty much. Like
and
Miles.
the Rhythms crowd loves, like, I mean, the Rhythms niche, those guys, they fucking pack the house when
Yeah.
they play.
Oh yeah,
They
especially
like
like
to party.
420 shows.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh my
You
god.
can't see like 2 feet in front of you without the
Rhythms
smoke
have
in
a
that
couple.
place.
I'll be
a couple good bops
I'll
too.
be at y'all's 420 show, by the way.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, but when we first started, I mean, the Rhythms, they got us the show at Launchpad, I think, like the first one to play with them. And they kind of just took us up. They really liked our music, and we fit well playing with them, too, even though they are reggae.
And when was this?
2020, I think, right? When the Rhythms.
Probably.
When
Like
we did our
just as
first Launchpad
everything
show.
is starting to like open back
Yeah,
up.
they
get back
I
in
don't
the
know
groove of
how they
things.
heard us or what, but they really took us in.
The Rhythms hooked us up with the bands that we played with for our first out-of-state show in Arizona.
Oh, true.
It was funny because we drove down to Arizona listening to the podcast with Nick and Leroy. But yeah, that was our first out-of-state show, and that was fucking cool.
Briefly, how was that? How was it playing for the? I meant to ask
Fucking
you that
awesome.
way earlier.
Yeah.
How was that experience finally going out of New Mexico? And
I
Awesome.
got so
It's fucking
fucking
awesome.
drunk out there.
We have some stories, bro. We have some stories.
I got lost.
Johnny got lost. He showed up like in the middle. He was wandering the desert, and he just shows up
Like
to
a
the fucking.
vagabond.
Yeah, he just shows up to the motel at 3 in the fucking morning.
Yeah,
shows-
we were all at the bar.
No one knew where Johnny was all
Yeah,
night.
and
But
then-
the show's over. Like, we were going to stay for the other band. We all got super drunk. So we're like, oh, let's just go hit Tucson, like the town of Tucson. Let's go see what's good. My phone dies like halfway through the night. It's like 12 in the morning. These guys leave.
We're
And I go to the
taking shots.
bathroom or something, and like my phone's dead. They're gone. And I'm just like out on the streets of Tucson.
Leroy
just lost.
said, "You said to leave."
And yeah, and Leroy left. I was supposed to catch I had a flight the same time as Leroy. We have beef right
Oh,
now. We have a little bit of beef.
I was in the bed next to them, so we all slept in the same room.
We had a flight at 7 in the morning. Leroy and I both had
I
that.
heard all of this.
And Leroy, like the whole night, Leroy's like, we're gonna keep each other accountable. I was like, please wake me up because I know I'm gonna be drunk. Leroy does not put a bit of effort into waking me up. I missed my flight. He can't use his flight. No.
You were asleep. I heard the story. So
He
Leroy's alarm.
shakes me like once.
Yeah, it's true. Leroy's alarm's going off at we were out till like 3 in the morning getting drunk.
right.
And Leroy's
Well,
alarm.
it's going off for a half hour. Leroy lets his alarm go off for 30 fucking
I'm
minutes.
so
with
tired. I
nice
thought I was
songs.
dreaming.
Oh, Dude, yeah, the amount of times I've been so tired and then my alarm starts playing and I'm like, dream me is dancing to the
Yeah.
alarm.
Yeah.
It's a song. It's not annoying. Bang,
So-
bang, bang. It's a nice little song that he knows.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
wake up to that.
Me and Nevin are sharing a bed, and Johnny and Leroy were sharing a bed, and so I'm asleep. Me and Nevin are on that bed, and I just hear all of a sudden, oh fuck, god damn it, oh fuck, it's Leroy, because like he missed his alarm, and so he gets up and then he just like scrumbles around, finds his pants, and he goes and he shakes Johnny. He goes, hey. He's all, we gotta go. The Uber's on the way to the airport. And Johnny gets up. He like sits up. I see it. And Johnny goes, all right, sounds good. And then Johnny crashes. And
And
Leroy
he just leaves. He just leaves.
Leroy fucking leaves. He gets in the Uber, and Johnny's just passed out. And I thought I was dreaming, so
Oh,
I didn't wake
man.
up or nothing.
I wake up like a few hours later. The
And
sun's
then-
just like beaming into the hotel.
Johnny gets
I
up
saw
and
the
goes-
sun and I immediately shut up. I'm like, oh
No.
fuck.
Johnny goes, fuck this guy. He goes, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
I was so mad. Oh my god, it was such a messy morning for me.
Yep.
But luckily, Nevin and Zach like didn't drive back yet, and so I was just at the airport, and I was like, I missed my flight, guys. Like, meet me at this like bar. Get some fucking mimosas and some brunch, and please.
with us?
Please drive me
Alcohol is
back.
what started this issue. so
that's
we
how we
might as well
finished it.
keep
I was like, I'm
drinking.
hungover. I need mimosas now.
It was cool to be like our first time out of state, though. It felt like popping that cherry a little bit. You know? I mean, it was like, hey, we're here, we did it.
Well, so,
It was fun.
what I get told by musicians is like, yeah, you can put all the music you want, but like going out, like touring in the city you live in, that's great, that's awesome, playing shows.
Yeah.
But like actually going out and showing it to a brand new state, a brand new audience of people. Did you see your growth start to track a little better?
No, but it was still worth it.
We only
we
played
still
one
had
show
we
out
had
there.
a crowd. We had a great crowd
Well,
there.
Yeah.
and that's what I'm getting to is like, how do you measure whether or not? Because it's not inexpensive to go out
No.
and do that.
And we rented a U-Haul and
Oh
and went out.
shit!
We had to load up all our shit. I mean, there's 6 of us,
Right? Yeah.
So-
So like, how do you measure whether or not that was worth it?
We
just
had to
by-
break the curse of being stuck in Albuquerque.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We didn't give a shit. We were like, we got to get
Yeah.
out because we had a couple out-of-state shows that had gotten canceled.
So you let your ego take over.
No, it kind of felt like,
Let's be honest. Let's be honest though, because I am born and bred here in Albuquerque,
Yeah.
and I love the community, and I've met some great people here, and I love my friends that I have here.
right.
But dog, like,
Yeah.
it's not the best place to be in,
No.
and I really do believe that regardless of what a bunch of old heads and what a bunch of other people that are in the entertainment industry for so long have to say, like, no, you need to stay here and grow the whatever. Like, no, how about this?
It's
How
tough.
about we fucking
Go
leave?
conquer new lands, baby.
Yeah.
We're
How about
fucking
we
pioneers.
leave? Do what we got to take care of business, and then we come back
Yeah.
to Albuquerque,
Yeah.
Like going
and
back
help
to
out the community.
when we're
that
talking
way.
about setting goals. Our goal was to get out of state
We had
for
to
this
check
year.
that
We
goal.
had to at least do
'Cause
if
we've
it was
played-
for a day. Like we had to just do
Yeah,
it.
we've played everywhere in Albuquerque, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like
Have you played a Sleda?
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
we have, yeah.
technically not
Not
on
the big stage, but
no.
we played the VIP room for Maroon 5.
Didn't
You
even get the
only
fucking-
were attached to Maroon 5. That's a fucking accomplishment.
we didn't get to meet them.
Yeah, we didn't get to meet him or nothing.
You got to say you opened for
I say we
Maroon
opened
5.
room 5.
Yeah, that's what you get to say.
In the
We
VIP
headlined for
section.
Maroon 5. Maroon 5 opened for us.
Hey, you know what? The VIP section's got a great bar. All right.
Damn
So-
right. We found that out the
they
hard
do.
way.
I was just there for Knot Fest a few months ago, so they got a great fucking bar. But
Honestly,
anyway,
honestly though, like going to Arizona, it could have gone so much lamer. Like even to go open a show in Arizona, we got to think when you're opening, we're playing at like 6:30 or 7, and like so a lot of people aren't in the bar yet. You know what I mean? And even still, we had a good crowd.
Yeah.
And they were
Cool.
having fun. And when Ocean Avenue kicked in, and then some of our 20-something.
It wasn't a bad venue either. Like
Not
the
at all.
venue
It
was
was nice.
huge. They had a really nice stage.
how many people do
It
you
was like
think
Sister Bar.
were
Yeah.
sitting there about the time you guys were playing?
I would
About
say
70.
about 60, 70.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and we
right?
got followers out of it.
Yeah.
So it was definitely
People were
worth it.
having fun at the show. They're
Yeah.
dancing. So.
And we made
And
contacts with the bands out
psychologically,
there.
I felt like we just felt like we stepped up.
yeah.
We're like,
Okay,
Yeah.
what you say that again because that's important.
Yeah, so we made contacts with the bands out there, like
Desert Fish.
Desert Fish. They're
ZZ
a
Killy.
badass band.
They are
bro.
fucking crazy.
They just played the Viper Room in Hollywood.
Oh wow.
Oh, dude,
On Sunset
insane.
Boulevard?
Yeah, no, I know where
Yeah.
that's at. Oh yeah.
I readjusted my guitar practice routine after that show.
No shit.
They were fucking crazy. So we open and like, okay, there's a stereotype with reggae bands, right? Like they all sound the same. They all just play the same kind of upbeat shit, right?
well.
Well, okay, for exactly, right? Majority is kind of like that,
Reggae,
right?
yeah.
So we open for Desert Fish and ZZ Killy, and Desert Fish goes on right after us, and they're like a mix of like reggae, metal, and pop, but perfectly. They were
Their
fucking
guitar
killing
player
it.
was
They even did a pop punk
shredded.
song.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
every single song they did was
They were
Really?
tight and dirty, and I mean the crowd it was filled up. It was like Marble when we play. It was like, and people were going nuts, and a lot of them it was basically all originals.
Wow.
And I
No
was like,
shit.
God damn.
Hey, if you spilled, you're good, dude. Don't even fucking worry
wiped
about
it
it. We
with the
got
sleeve.
we got paper towels and shit.
He's
No,
got a
we're
soggy
good.
sleeve now.
I remember,
Yeah, no, I appreciate the effort, but no, we're good.
but no, it was just dope to open for those guys. You know what I mean? We're gonna play with them again here soon. It was sick. Oh, a band that's coming that we're gonna play with again. We played with a band called Sunfish. Were you at that show? It was
Lot of
Launchpad
fish.
show.
Out of Utah, right?
Yeah, out of Utah.
Because I saw you guys in Launchpad in December.
Yeah, it might have been a little before that. They opened up for us.
Yeah,
at
I've seen you
Launchpad.
guys play twice. So
Okay.
that Marble, because I was supposed to watch you guys
Inside Out. That
at
first
Inside
night got
Out,
rained out. Yeah.
but it got rained out, and then showed up to Marble, and then Launchpad.
Marble went hard.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you got to see us at Marble instead of Launchpad.
Real quick, going back to Tucson, let me tell you about Zach. So Zach, as soon as we're driving his truck, right?
Hey, David.
And Zach, he's all, I don't want to drive. And so we're like, fine, okay. So it's me, Leroy, and Zach. And so Leroy takes the first shift, drives 3 hours. I take the second shift. And so we finally, we just get into Tucson, and Zach, wakes up from the back seat. He goes,
I hate it.
what the fuck is this place? He goes, I
Immediately just
fucking
bad
hate
mood.
Tucson. Obviously, he doesn't hate it, but he put on this, he went into an actor mode.
Yeah.
And just put on this face where he was like, I fucking hate everything going on right now. And yeah, he kept that vibe the whole trip until we left.
I remember he walked in the hotel room. He goes, I fucking hate it here. Zach's
Just
fucking
like,
crazy.
Tucson's a great place. I don't know what Zach was thinking. He was putting on an act.
For our first out of state show to have 60, 70 people as the openers though was dope.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was
went
like,
well.
okay, fuck yeah.
We could have
didn't
played
come
in
out here
some
for 5
shitty
people.
dive bar or something,
Yeah.
but we played a great venue, and it was worth it. Honestly, going
and
out.
we didn't have any big problems or nothing. We played a good show.
We paid for our gas coming
Yeah.
there and back, so couldn't complain about that.
Broke even.
Broke even.
Take it as a win.
Fuck it, and I think that's important though that you bring up that you made connections with the bands out there.
And the venues.
And the manager too.
Good. Okay, I was about to ask about that. If you got in with the managers or the owners of the venue, because they will rebook you.
Right.
They'll keep bringing you back. Because I forget which one of you guys fucking said it, but it's that you guys sell beer very well,
Oh, yeah.
and
We
that's
do.
why Marvel just keeps having you come back because you guys pack the fuck out of Marvel.
So speaking of that, Marble was badass this year, and since we have a rapport with them now,
yeah.
they booked us out all their best dates for this whole year. So it's 420, Marble Fest, all that kind of cool
Nice.
shit. So we have so many good Marble Friday, Saturday
Yeah.
shows. It's
And
gonna
we
be awesome.
love Marble, but now we can't play because we've played there enough. We can't play with the other bands. We can't play with Red Lights. We can't play with Mangoes. I guess because it's too, too big of hard hitters in the same night.
It'll get too packed.
Right. Yeah. So they want to spread that. So it's gonna be us one weekend, Mangoes the next week, and then Red Lights the next weekend.
Isn't that crazy? From a year ago or 2 years ago, when we couldn't even get into Marble.
You leveling up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
I feel like what we do well is what you're saying. We do to drink beer. We go and hang out at the bars and stuff after, and I feel like that's just part of the show too.
Yeah.
We have to go. We mingle with our fans.
Yes.
I listen to Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, their podcast a lot. Two Bears, One Cave, and Bert Kreischer was talking about, and I want to take this and it's kind of what we do already, but he was saying that when he first started out in comedy, he would do a show and then go back to he still does it. He goes to the bar and just buys rounds for people, and he keeps people there because they're buying more drinks. He wants people there, and then he gets paid for the amount of drink sales. I was like, That's
Genius.
genius. That's fucking
Well-
genius. Like you're mingling with your fans,
And
also
paid
getting
more.
those sales too.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, that's so smart of what he
and
does.
we just do that because we like to hang out with
Yeah.
people
Yes,
it's
after.
fun.
Because people are like, "Oh, that was so fun," and we're like, "Sweet,
Let's
that
get
was
some
fun for us
shots."
too."
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say because I think the first time you and I talked about getting you guys on the podcast, we were taking a piss in the urinal.
Yeah, at Inside Out.
yeah.
We were gonna play that night.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where you have your most intimate
Oh, yeah.
conversations.
It
It
was
was
just
at the
all
urinal
eye
with
contact,
another
we're all-
man. Oh yeah.
You want to get on this podcast?
Why am I peeing better now? What the fuck? But no, it's funny you bring that up though, is because that is exactly what comedian. One of the big, personally, I think the best comedian here, Robert Gibson, Buck D. He told me that when I had him on was that the key to success, whether you're a comedian or a musician, especially here in Albuquerque, with how tight knit the community is stick around after your fucking show. He goes, for a comedian, like specifically, be there early so you can say hi to people, so you know that when you go up on stage, you tell dick jokes and you say racial slurs, say all this stuff, that they know it's an act.
Yeah.
But then when you get off, talk to the audience that just paid their fucking hard-earned money
Yeah, exactly.
to come say what's up.
And we know that, like, we're grateful for that. We're like, we know people could do anything tonight. We're just a local
They
band
are
right now.
choosing. I am choosing on Saturday
Yeah.
night to fucking watch
exactly.
you guys.
But,
You know
like,
what I mean?
but we know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're like, this is sick. Like,
Yeah.
people are paying. Sometimes it's like a $10, $15 cover.
Right.
Like, people are paying their money from work
Well, and-
to
and-
come watch a show.
To be
Like,
frank, that's
it
how I
better be
feel about
good.
fucking doing this. Is you guys could be spending the last hour and a half doing whatever the fuck you want to do. You'd be taking a nice
well,
nap.
You know why we like to come
Exactly.
on your podcast? Because you actually like come to the shows. You know about us. You know about the people you interview, or you do some research.
I
Like,
do my best.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not like you're just like trying to get people on so you can spit out another episode. Like you actually like have conversations and know.
Well, I appreciate that.
You know what I mean?
Well, 'cause I've hit that wall a couple of times, where I'm like, well, fuck, there's not an episode coming out this week. Like this person canceled, or we couldn't do it because my schedule got fucked up, or whatever it is. It's like, okay, no, I'll go like for a dark week where there's no, and I'll try to put out like a reel or whatever kind of bullshit. I suck at social media. Like I'll try to put something out, but I'd rather go dark for a week and there be a 2-week gap than I just consistently stick to a schedule. And even if a fifth of that is bullshit, that makes me look bad. And then inherently, like, because if I'm super selfish when it comes to this. I'll be honest. Like, I am very selfish. Like, I don't, because I've, it's not like left and like I'm swatting people away, but there's been like one or two where I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Not because I think they're bad people or because I don't like their message. It's like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And that's fair. 'cause
And
it's
I
not
don't
fake.
I don't know how to like, especially in a long form conversation like this. I don't know how to fucking lie for that long.
Yeah.
Like I can't keep up the facade of well, how did you do that? Like I don't know how to
Well,
do
that's
that.
good on you though too, because
Yeah.
like
But that's why we like. That's why it feels authentic.
the guests, yeah, they I feel like they will be able to pick up on that you're kind of just like bullshitting with them about what they're interested
Right.
in. But like with us, like what we do, it's really comfortable.
Like
so
you actually
do a great
come to
job
the
at
shows
it.
and
Well, I
listen to our
appreciate
songs.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, we fucking had an after party together last show.
We did.
One
It was fun, man.
One of the funniest fucking. Okay, so I'm so glad that I am so glad I remember this because we went from Launchpad to distillery. But then we went from
four.
distillery
That was us four.
to your apartment.
Yeah.
And I remember
Oh, I bailed out
was-
before that.
I
I was browning
so,
out before that, and I like look over, and you're just like next to me. I'm like, oh hey.
I was so fucking gone. I remember walking, and suddenly the ground turned from like a bar floor to cement, and then it turned to carpet. And then I turned to Nev, and I was like, "Hey, bro, what bar are we going to? What the fuck?" And he goes, "We're going to Johnny's apartment." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I have no idea where the fuck
We had
I
a
am.
squad with us that night. There was just like a group of people. That was great.
I don't know how we ended up getting so drunk that night.
Everyone got a little messy.
Yeah. I was the least
Everyone at the
messy. I
show
was
too.
still
Everyone
drunk.
like the people like performing and the crowd. Everyone just got so drunk and on a level. It
That's
was
one of the
crazy.
best
Kind of
parts.
that was kind of one of the less hyped shows.
And that's bullshit because that show was so good.
We thought we played like shit.
Oh, I did.
That Launchpad
Oh, yeah,
show,
absolutely.
we got off and we were like, fuck, C-.
We'll give ourselves grades.
That's
C
a grade.
minus.
Well, that's funny because Nick and Leroy were giving me some criticisms about your guys' performance, and I was like,
ass.
and granted, I wasn't like, but I was getting there, and I was like, dude, you guys played fucking great because you guys did. Like that was a great fucking show. What I do remember is just that which is why I loved having Carlos on because he works audio.
Yeah.
There was a moment like maybe 2/3 of the way into your show where if you're looking at the stage, the right amp just kind of blew out, and it went like and it went out like way too high, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" But that only lasted for like 15 seconds.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, the song sounded fucking great. Like I hold Green Day such a high regard. Like that is what got me into a lot of my music taste now. You
Yeah.
guys fucking smashed it. Ocean Avenue was fucking great. In the interest of time, you guys have a show coming up on this upcoming Saturday. That's the 15th, right?
Yep.
Or no, the 18th.
18th.
Today's the 15th.
With Bellowing Bear.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're-
And so just a
they're
little
sick.
surprise for you. We have two new covers.
Oh, true.
And we have two new originals.
Oh shit.
So there's going to be 4 new songs. This
Fuck
is
yeah.
This is a 19 song set list, I think. I think so.
Yeah, we do 2 sets at Marble. We
Two
do,
35-minute sets. I forgot how long
45.
Marble sets were. When
Marble's
they sent the set
long,
list, I was like,
bro.
God damn,
So
we have a lot to
long.
practice. But
So the show begins when?
I think we go on at 9:30, but
They
Leroy
changed
also
Might
said that
get changed.
it might snow, so they might bump us
Snow?
back 2 hours. That's what
Yeah.
Leroy said.
I don't believe it.
Hey, it ain't
I
gonna
don't
snow.
think so.
Snow's not
The
real.
weather
Nice bowl
changes up
part
so
two.
much. Like they're saying maybe we might have to start a little bit earlier. The weather's bad.
We'll
but
text you. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's,
Yeah, let me know.
I
Okay.
doubt it. The weather changes up so much here that it's gonna be chilling.
Yeah,
that
we're gonna be
night.
playing at Marble a ton this year. So
Yeah.
Well, you guys put out a whole like thing on your story, right? Of like your upcoming shows. So
We
yeah,
have
again,
a fuckload, dude.
Marble, and then the next one is April 1st. It's the grand opening at Inside Out, so that's gonna be the next like huge one for
And then
us.
we have
a grand opening.
Yeah, well, it's not grand. I mean, they closed down for the winter because Inside
Oh,
Out they
so
don't
the
have a roof.
reopening.
So
Yeah.
the
a reopening.
reopening for the
Yeah,
right.
it's their first reopening day.
And
Okay.
December
Inside
have
Out
shows.
goes hard.
They do, yeah.
They treat us good, bro. They're so cool.
People
They're
love
a
Inside
sick
Out.
venue.
Yeah.
They are.
Like
They're nice. They pay us well, and it's fun.
I'm gonna look into when because I'm doing a pod that day, a live stream. So I'm gonna see when that ends, so I can fucking beep pop over to fucking Inside Out.
Nice.
On over there.
And then we do 420 at Marble.
I'll be there for
422
that.
with the rhythms.
422 with
At
the
launch
rhythms
pad.
at
That's on a
Launchpad.
that's on a Thursday, right?
Yeah. So,
yeah,
dude,
I'll be
like,
there for that.
Just like a heads up,
And the 15th, I think.
this
Didn't
is
we
our
get put on
craziest
sister
show
for the
year
15th
we've
for
ever
their
had. So
420
like
show?
we're booked from like now. This is like the beginning of this. We've had the calm before the storm. Like this March 18th until about August, September is booked. So we got every.
And those
other-
are pre-book shows. Like we get added on just randomly
Yeah.
too throughout the summer. So
We'll be
we're packed
playing
already.
for the next
So,
5 months.
The
Yeah.
last thing I'm gonna ask you guys is, how does that feel?
Fucking good.
Great.
amazing.
Suck your own
We
dicks
need
for a
more
second.
out of
Like, how
town
does
shows,
that feel?
but it feels amazing.
It feels nice to like for a venue to hit. Like honestly, like we're grateful. It's nice that like a venue hits you up. instead
Yeah.
of
Winter
us.
always slows down too, so like when we see these shows coming up, the
Like,
momentum
fuck
just
yeah.
starts picking up, and we just start grinding.
And we
shit.
just know how much our fans like to see like Marble shows and Inside Out shows in the summer. The weather's nice. It's
Yep.
fun. It's happy. It's
Winter's
cool.
hard. It's fucking brutal
Winter's
out
depressing.
here,
We
dude.
have to write songs
I
that
know,
don't
yeah.
suck and not play.
Some people
Yeah,
will come, and some people won't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Winter is just full of like trying to write songs, and then once that like I mean, probably February-ish is when
Yeah.
stuff kind of
Writing
starts to open up.
songs and,
And
making
then
gains. That's what
April,
we do.
like right where we're hitting, is when it's just like we don't have time to write songs, so we play twice a week. We're
Yeah.
like, fuck. But it's
We've
fun.
really been trying to hone in on like our show performances now. Since that we're gonna be, we have so many shows coming up. We want to choreograph like an actual show for people and really focus on making
Yeah.
it fucking
Transitions
big,
and,
making
yeah.
the transitions good, making people engage more.
Just making it
The
one,
winter
like,
shows we've
full
kind of just
show.
been going up and like
doing what we do.
we look at each other and we're like, all right, let's start, and we just go through our whole set quick and get it done. Now we're like, let's work on making a fucking banger show for people and
Well, because
bringing back like
people
that
want to
stage
be out
presence.
during the summer.
Yeah,
people
hell yeah.
want to
Yeah.
be out. They, want
wanna
to
have
drink.
fun,
They
yeah.
want to party. That's just how it is. So that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
it's a lot of work to prep 19 songs for
Yeah.
a set list. Like that's why we're like going to practice right after this. Like, no,
Good.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's
good.
like, and like we canceled the last podcast for the studio.
I'm glad you did, by the way, because that pod would have been great. It would have been good. but not as good as this.
It worked out.
It's because I'm on here now.
Yeah, that's
Let's
right.
be real.
Johnny Sex on the air.
Just
But the longest set we've played was the State Fair.
Yeah,
That shit
was
was
like
we played
20
every
some
song we
songs.
knew, and like
I aged.
by a
I
long
literally
shot.
aged by the end. I was
yeah,
like,
it was
oh,
like
I'm just
Interstellar,
fucking
bro.
old.
It
Yeah.
was like we've been here for 14 years. It was like
It was the longest.
It's only been
show
3
we've
hours.
ever
It's
done.
been 14 years.
We pulled every single song we had
out of
out
our
of the
ass.
playbook. Yeah,
we
we're just
played
like,
out of the
fuck.
playbook. We played every song, and we got an encore, and we didn't know any more songs, so we just played the first song again.
We're like, we did everything we know.
We played like 26 songs.
It was so much.
It was terrible.
It's your playlist on Spotify. You didn't think you'd finished, but then you randomly do. It was like, oh, I've
I'm
heard
back
this
at the
before.
beginning.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, we're back on it. We're on the loop.
Like we have to play every single song when we start playing like the old originals and like Twist and Shout.
Yeah, like Sundress. We're trying to bring that back with like a pop punk kind of. Have you ever heard that song, Sundress?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good, but live it's
So
so rough.
It's a good
Just
song.
Kills the energy.
We can't play it live.
Well, it's a slower song.
It's
our only
so
slow
much
song.
different than every single other
Yeah,
song
no,
we've
I
done.
like that song. Personally, I know Nick fucking
Everybody
hates
says
it.
it. Everybody
Nick's a smart
loves
ass.
that song, too.
You know Nick. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good song. It just doesn't fit the set list. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, it's such a derivative from what you guys normally put out. It's quite refreshing when I put you guys stuff on shuffle and that comes on.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
it's good,
In the car,
but like
it's nice.
but yeah, in a live setting where I'm here to fucking get the
rock
shit
out.
kicked out of me by
Yeah.
some drums, that's not really
Yeah.
There's one time we did that song as an encore,
That was Zach's fault.
oh.
and it was definitely the worst encore we've ever.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good decision.
My dad came up to me after he was at that show. He goes, "What the fuck was that?" He was like, "You end with fucking all the small things, and then encore with Sundress. What the fuck was that?"
We need that. We need the humbling,
I
honestly.
understand.
Fuck.
All right, so this Saturday at fucking Marble off of First here in Albuquerque, you guys are playing.
Yep.
April 1st at Inside Out.
Shout out to Leroy, Nick, and Zach, the rest of the squad.
Yes, this has been a fucking pleasure. I'm glad I got to get you in here finally.
Thanks for having
The
me.
Sex
Noah.
Master.
Yes, your stage name's so corny, dude. I love it. All right, this has been a blast, and thank you guys for tuning in, listening, and watching. This will be on Spotify here in a few days, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Joe
Thank you.
Rogan.
Bye.
some
Roll
Joe
that
Rogan
fucking
status.
outro, dude.